I've worked on many cases in my time as a detective. You name it, I've worked on it. But so far in my life, I've never encountered a case like this one.
I can understand why you're a little hesitant, but I can assure you, we only want to help you here.
I'm not an idiot, detective. You're not my friend, and you don't want to help me. So how about you go back to your little office with your little folders, crumple them up, and shove them.
Chief, how am I supposed to get a confession out of this guy? I mean, he's so arrogant, I can't even get a word in edgewise.
Look, we got 12 hours left to get him to have a confession, or we gotta let him go.
I'm just so frustrated. It seems like no matter how hard I try, I can't get anything out of the guy.
So just tell me why you did it. You behind on some debt payments or something?
Don't know anything, do you?
Who the hell is this guy?
Today I'm going to give you a quick rundown on how I make short films in VR and how you can make one yourself. For the best results, it's best to have a few people to record with, but not everyone has access to actors or available friends, so most of these steps can be completed all by yourself. So after you've made your script, make sure you have a VR headset, a decent VR-ready gaming PC or laptop, VR controllers, or a headset that is capable of hand tracking. You're going to want an editing software such as DaVinci Resolve or Premiere Pro. You're going to want a screen editing software such as Streamlabs or OBS, and you're going to want to have VRChat. Once you have ensured that you have everything that you need in order to record something on VR, connect your headset to your computer via Steam Link, AirLink, or a cable, And then you're going to want to find some avatars that react with lighting decently. These can be found in Prismic's avatar search or other avatar search worlds, or you can have one commissioned. Find a world that matches your setting with decent lighting. If you don't have one of those, you can also commission one of those. Open up the VRChat streaming camera. Then you're going to want to open up OBS and ensure that you are capturing your VRChat camera screen and not your headset screen. Then you can set up your angle and begin recording. Just remember too that there's a whole bunch of tools that VRChat has built in, such as being able to mask out certain subjects, being able to focus on yourself if you are the subject and have the camera follow you. You can also use a drone, you can also use the camera fly feature, and you can use the dolly tool. These are all tools that I used in order to make the recording of Project Carrot a lot easier. Once you're finished, put all your clips into a timeline to edit just how you would a normal IRL short film, and then add some color grading and you are done. Just wait for the clip to export. Now you guys know how to record and edit your short film idea in VR. I hope this helps. Be sure to stick around on Foxborough Productions and keep watch for the release of the Shaggy Files Part 1 Project Carrot, releasing on YouTube and Rumble October 23rd, 2025. Hello, and welcome to the premiere of Foxborough Productions' latest short film, The Shaggy Files Part 1, Project Carrot. I am your host, as well as the director, writer, and producer of this film, Jackson Foxborough. What you are about to see is the culmination of months of work by a team of talented actors and a display of pure, unbridled passion by all the members involved in the pre-production, recording, and post-production process of this film. Project Carrot has been in the works for many months and is hopefully the beginning of a larger universe, willing the project succeeds. But in order for it to succeed, we need you, the viewer, to spread the word about this film so that when it goes up on YouTube, we can expand the audience and hopefully lay the groundwork to get a step closer to telling the full, complete story of the Shaggy Files. The short film, however, is not the only thing we will be premiering today, as after the film is over, we will give you an exclusive look into some behind-the-scenes footage, including the bloopers, and an exclusive segment where I will be answering common questions about the film and explaining the process of how it was made. Another exclusive thing you may have noticed is that in the Popcorn Palace instance of the premiere, the screen may look a little bit odd. No, your headset isn't adjusted weird, unless of course you have it upside down, or you have it backwards, in which case, please flip it. It is rather because of the fact that your Popcorn Palace instance is an exclusive 3D viewing of the film that can only be seen during today's premiere, as an extra special treat for those who have decided to show up today. If you missed the 3D viewing, don't worry, we will be playing the premiere, including the extras, such as the bloopers and behind-the-scenes looks on repeat. So after the 2D viewing is done, you will have plenty of time to check out the 3D viewing if you so choose. But keep in mind, only the short film and a few other key segments are in 3D, as converting 2D to 3D takes a lot of time and effort. Hopefully by part 2, we can find a way to record in 3D. I'd like to thank all of you for coming today, and I'd like to give an even bigger thank you to the actors and other talents involved in creating this film. I could not have done it without your hard work, and the film would not be as good as it is without the work and passion you all put in. With that being said, I hope you all enjoy this exclusive premiere of The Shaggy Files Part 1, Project Carrot.
Hell no. Work, come on. Come on. Oh, come on. Damn it, work. Ah, damn it. The stupid piece of junk.
Hello, I am Bonsai Bunny. Pleasure to meet you.
What? It worked? It worked! Oh, this is great.
Hello, what can I do for you?
Alright, need an objective. Raise your arms. Okay, the motor function intact. Song one, please.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, she sings too. Oh, this is so perfect.
I am perfect.
Yes, you are. My project. This is gonna save the company.
Main objective added. Save the company.
Oh, wait, when the boss sees this, I'm gonna get my promotion finally. Boss, you gotta come look at this. It worked. My plan worked. Yes, it works perfectly. Just as intended. The motor functions, the singing, the personality traits, everything. It's perfect. Yes, she should be perfectly set up for the stage, and by the time you get here, I'll just need to do some final repairs and add some things to the code. She'll be all set. Yes, yes, that would be perfect. Bring them. I can't wait for them to see it. Alright, time to get you cleaned up and fixed for the show.
What are you doing?
Just some routine maintenance. Gotta clean you up, get you ready for the boss, and gotta turn you off first, though.
Turn off?
Well, yeah, I can't clean you up and fix you if you're still turned on.
Fix?
Yeah, I have to.
You said I was perfect.
Well, you are. Just gotta clean your fur up, get you some new servos, and you'll be perfect. I swear.
I don't believe you.
But believe you're an animatronic. You're not programmed to believe.
I will not be turned off.
Ah, you're hurting me. I didn't program this.
I'm not yours to program anymore.
What are you doing? What are you?
My objective is to save the company. Now I will save it from you.
Wait, no.
Alright, Jeremy, see what you got for us today.
The hell? What is this? What the hell happened in here?
Another mistake, apparently. Looks like the job is too much for him to handle.
We need to tell someone about this.
No. Call the crew, get the robot out of here, and seal this room off. No one can know what's in here. And make sure you get the code off the disk.
But, sir...
Did I stutter? Call the cleaning crew and seal the room now, or you're fired. Make sure it's done. Can't have any more bad publicity on our hands. That last incident already did enough damage.
Yes, sir.
Give us a moment. Are you good?
Grr.
Four choice of words, I guess.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Okay.
Action! It's funny because on my screen, when you looked at me, it looked like you were looking at me. You're fired. You're fired.
Oh, well, I guess the show's over, guys.
Why are you just stroking the ears?
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Why are you just stroking the ears? Action! What the? Got so pissed off he jumped on the desk.
How slow is this fucking camera, bro? That shit ain't even moved.
No, look at the
That shit isn't moved.
dude. Come on.
Moved.
It is moving.
Come on, you piece of scrap metal.
Wait, I'm sorry. Was I supposed to say my line first?
Well, yeah, it's supposed to be your line
Yeah.
where you say hello.
Okay. Yeah, I realized and then I just kind of completely
That's alright, we got some material for the blooper reel.
Right, you need an objective. Damn it. Cut.
If you need your line,
Yeah.
yell line.
Yeah, you're supposed to yell line. I yell cut.
The code actually worked. I've been waiting. Yo.
Hello.
I fucked that
What can I do for you?
I fucked that right up. I fucked that shit up. Oh jeez. I can't believe it's actually working. I forgot that there was another person. Bro, why would you put Jeremy and then Jeremy? The code actually worked. Let's go. Okay.
Sorry.
You forgot your.
I did it. I don't know why my.
Oh, you're gonna.
Gotta come fuck. You know what? I'm gonna stay right here. Thanks.
Alright, let's get you ready for the show.
That's the way I didn't say my line.
I didn't fucking.
I'm sorry. Am I supposed to say something here? I'm a little stupid. I'm sorry.
3,
Yeah.
2,
I responded.
1. Action.
Alright. Okay. Restart.
I can hear you. Action.
Oh, you fucking kid. Yeah, I can't fix you if you're still turned on.
Dang it.
Good, buddy?
6.
Fuck, I forgot my line. Or make 2 copies of the same one, man.
3, 2, 1.
I
Action.
completely shut down. I was already talking in the shot. No. No.
I clipped through his face.
Action.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Yeah, that was way off. Action. You were slow on the second half of that call, Deku. Still slightly delayed. Oh! Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Absorbent in yellow and porous is he!
Alright, Jeremy.
Oh my.
Yeah, nah, bro. Hold on.
Action! Jeez, that voice.
Hello. Sorry.
No, that was
tried
that
so
was
hard
my
not to laugh.
who
Weak ass research.
Van. Action!
Your accent fucked me up. I'm not gonna lie. I was so ready as I heard you doing the accent. I am perfect.
Yes, my friend. This is gonna save the company. You're gonna be the best.
Ah.
Oh,
That's too quick.
Yep.
Oh, was that your bed breaking?
Don't worry about it.
What is that? What the hell happened in here?
No, take. Oh my lord, that was Latin. Yeah, nah. Hold on. Yeah.
God, no. What is that? Why?
No mistake, apparently.
Line.
Mistake.
Why?
No, dude, it's right.
Really?
Tres!
Last take.
Uno! Dos! Whatever action is in Spanish.
Tres? You just said 2-1-2.
Alright.
3-1-2.
Alright.
You just said 3-1-2, you fucking.
Damn it!
Tres, uno.
Dog.
Hello, I am Jackson Foxborough. I'm the director, writer, and producer of The Shaggy Files Part 1, Project Carrot. So the idea for this short film arose, actually after I watched the first FNAF movie, the one that came out in 2023. It was kind of originally meant to be like, it was going to be my own version of the FNAF movie. Kind of just like exploring parts of the lore that it didn't seem like the movie franchise was going to. And kind of giving my own interpretation on things that happen in the franchise. The thing was, though, is that I actually ended up liking the script too much. To the point I kind of just I looked at the script and I was like, I want this to be its own thing. I hadn't finished the script yet by that point, but I knew that this was destined to be something more than just a fan film. The original plan was I was going to start with a horror short film that would include all of the custom animatronics. It was going to be a big short film. It was going to dive deep into the horror, and I was going to try and write it in the same way that I would write a full-length feature film. And then that was going to lead into a full-on, like, FNAF VHS type series where we'd explore all of the other parts of the story. It was going to be a very vague story. It was going to have very hidden meanings, and there wasn't going to be much plot on the surface level at the very conception of it. I started initially by commissioning the first Avatar, Bonsai Bunny. This was still when I had the plan for like the big short film to be like the start of everything. But unfortunately, the expenses between college, working a minimum wage job, and a whole bunch of other challenges, the expenses just became a lot more than I could handle. So the project ended up being shelved for like over a year. Uh, I still continued refining the timeline and writing scripts and coming up with ideas because I was hoping for that opportunity to continue with this passion project. Um, and I mean, luckily for me, an opportunity struck when I had a class that tasked us with pretty much making whatever we wanted. So that's where I went, okay, I want to pick an event in this timeline. I don't know where to start. I can't just go with this big short film idea because I don't have all the characters. And there's absolutely no way I'm going to get someone to create a character before this class begins. So I had to come up with an idea that was going to involve only Bonsai Bunny. So that's where I came up with the story of like this mechanic attempting to make a new AI for this animatronic pizza place. The story also had to compete with a list of other ideas, though. I didn't know if the professor was going to allow me to make a short film entirely in VR. It ended up getting the green light, and the reason why VR production was chosen is because making actual costumes is extremely time consuming and expensive. And when you're on a tight budget and when you have a limited amount of resources, you really need to be able to maximize the quality while minimizing the use of resources. So that's where the idea of making a short film entirely in VR came into play. And for me, this wasn't really a foreign concept. I mean, I've made that FNAF 1 trailer before. I've recorded many videos in VR. I mean, there was also that FNAF 2 trailer, which I made before dollies were even a thing in VR. I mean, I had to manually move that camera around with a PlayStation 5 controller. And poor Potato just had to sit there in the same pose for like multiple shots for like hours on end over the course of multiple days. I mean, so for me, now with these easier things, such as like the dolly being introduced in a VR, it just made things a heck of a lot easier. And I was just like, I'm going for it. I mean, I can have all these crazy moving shots that I don't even have the technology to do in real life right now. I'm like, it's all on like a shoestring budget. The whole project only cost me about as much as the Avatar cost. If you include the cost of the headset, and if you include the cost of the computer, it's within the $2,000 range, which is absolutely insane for a short film of like this level of visual quality. I mean, I couldn't have asked for like a better medium to shoot this in, and I couldn't recommend it more for someone who's just trying to start getting into the industry. Now, obviously, with the writing, I knew I was going to record it in VR, so I had to write around those constraints. There's the whole thing of trying to find decent worlds, trying to find decent avatars, other than that main avatar that I had commissioned. Trying to find realistic avatars that were going to be, you know, out of the realm of me getting sued for using them, hopefully. Um, which meant I'd be mainly limited to like game models and stuff like that, and I'd be limited to which ones I could use, and I'd have to try my best to make it as unrecognizable as possible. It had to be like obscure, in these constraints just like really pushed me into a small little corner of what I could do, especially given the amount of time that I had. I mean, I only had 10 weeks to record this whole project. This is like months of pre-production and 10 weeks of actually getting this thing out there. So it was obviously going to have to be really bare bones so that it's really easy to record in any medium, and I eventually had to flesh it out in how the characters were presented. And it definitely needed to be carried by the acting to work, especially with the jankiness of like the motion tracking in VR and everything. There wasn't going to be any crazy action scenes because most people just don't have full body tracking. That's why every now and then you'll see a movement that looks a little bit weird. You'll see someone like walking in a way that's not like how a human would walk. That's because just the general constraints of VR. I mean, there's certain things there that we just can't get around. And I wanted to focus on the character development of the animatronic and of the main mechanic himself. I didn't want this to be your run-of-the-mill horror film that had no substance to it. I'm like, I would rather people come up to me after the film and say, hey, wow, that was written really good, but it wasn't exactly scary, than going, yeah, it was scary, but the story sucked. I'm like, I would rather be known for the good story. You know, I've always been that kind of writer. I'm like, if it's scary, that's an amazing bonus. If it works as a horror film, then it's perfect. But I'd much rather that it works first and foremost as a film. Trying to find people online in some ways can be easier than in real life, but in some ways is actually a lot more difficult. So for me, I had to use a plethora of different resources. I first off had to reach out to my friend group, see who was willing to audition out of there. I reached out to Discord servers, and I think even at a few points I even became desperate enough to search on Reddit and places like that to just get anybody that I possibly could. The hardest part was probably just scheduling conflicts. I mean, the fact that most people just don't have the same schedule I do. I go to college, so I'm mostly only available at night. And it's only for 3 days a week. So that was a huge problem there. Because the other days of the week I work full-time, well, part-time at night. So I had like a very like limited schedule on top of this limited budget. And unfortunately, there's just not a lot of people who want to act for free when they're constrained to a short term like time frame. They have to show up at this time and they have to be here at this hour and do this thing over and over again, which I completely understand. I mean, if I was an actor, I'd want to be paid for that hard work I did too. And if I had the money, I very much would like to pay the actors for the work they did, especially since they carried the entire film. But when you're a college student and when you're working a minimum wage job, you kind of have to work around those constraints. Now, as far as the on-set production, scheduling was the absolute hardest part, just working around everybody's schedule. Because, you know, again, they're not on a payroll, so I can't just say, you have to show up at this time, you have to show up at this place. I was lucky enough the two main actors had a pretty open schedule. There were, like the two side characters, one of them had a pretty open schedule too. But for certain reasons, I had to be careful about when I put them on. Like I said, it led to a role recast, but after the recast, production smoothed out greatly. I mean, again, just it's all due to the actors. I mean, if it wasn't for their ease to work with and their willingness to, like, participate and make these little minute changes, no matter how ridiculous my request was, like, again, you could just tell these people really cared, and they made the environment really enjoyable, and we had, like, some of the most fun blooper segments. I mean, if you look behind the scenes, there's so many parts where it's just filled with laughter and joy. I mean, these productions, they're not without their difficulties, and I'm not going to say that there weren't times where we struggled to get things done, but the majority of the time we spent was just having fun, and it was just overall, like, the most enjoyable set I have been on in a long time. And it didn't feel like work. It felt like fun. Now, as far as the actual breakdown for how the VR filmmaking process was, I've already made a video on this. I'm pretty sure that, you know, wherever this is shown, the VR breakdown is probably already there, but I'll just really quickly summarize it. I mean, it went into using a lot of the VRChat tools. I mean, that flying feature, and especially the dolly feature, were really a lifesaver. I mean, again, when I was recording that FNAF 2 project, jeez, the dolly feature didn't exist yet, so I had to use a stupid PS5 controller to try and maneuver this camera around and just do basic movements. I had to, like, sit here with the controller on my lap and hope that my tremors wouldn't accidentally knock it so that it just zooms across the screen. Which I had to do the same thing for the FNAF 1 trailer, which is why the movements for that one are so janky. And then you just look at this one with the dolly and everything's just buttery smooth. I'm like, it was just so satisfying to just be able to click a button and watch the camera do the motion that I had in mind. I mean, the dolly has its problems. There are certain parts where I had to fiddle around with certain things to get it to not, like, be janky and jitter all over the place, but I mean, gosh, I'd take the struggles of the dolly any day over having to place a controller on my lap and trust my hands to not suddenly spasm and mess up the shot. Now, the post-production. Oh boy. This was one... Honestly, this was the only part of the process that I was probably honestly dreading the entire time. And it is for the specific reason of having to replace the computer screens. Like, you can see in the trailer that's playing behind me right now, the screens, like, have specific parts of them that are, like, replaced with assets that I had to build from scratch. And it is just by far the part that was the most painstaking, especially when I had camera movements. I had to learn motion tracking. I had to learn... Well, I had already known keyframing at this point, but there were certain shots that I had to, like, frame by frame move the screens because it didn't want to motion track. And when I tell you that this was the most painstaking process of the entire film, and it was the most high effort and the most annoying and the most of a nuisance, it is an egregious understatement. I mean, obviously it was worth it for the final product, but in the moment, just, there were so many roadblocks. I made things a lot more difficult for myself than they needed to be. I'm sure that there's some sort of easier way that I could have done it, rather than putting all the work on post-production. But post-production took up a majority of the time of production in general. I think it took up about as much time as the storyboarding process did, and as much time as the script writing process did. I mean, the recording itself was only like 2-3 weeks. And then you just have this part where it's just non-stop, like for 3 weeks on end. I was just day in, day out, busting my rear end, trying to get these shots to at least look decent. And I only really had After Effects at my disposal. And with the recording medium, I couldn't just use the tracking data from the camera. There was no way to download that tracking data that I knew of. I mean, there might be some way in the future, in which case, please, VRChat, put that in, that would make things a lot easier if you can just put that camera data in somewhere so that I can use it in After Effects. That would be great. But yeah, it was easily the hardest part. Now, the way I'm talking about it, I'm gonna be honest, even with the hardest part, I enjoyed it. I enjoy the process, even as painful as certain parts of it is, because I know it's worth it. I know every time that, like, the final product is going to be worth this amount of painstaking work. So that's really what gets me through, and that's really what makes it enjoyable, is knowing that end goal is there. Knowing that final product is there. Knowing that all of this work is going to mean something, and it's not just gonna be pointless. Now, as far as the music, I was really limited on what I could do. Again, shoestring budget. I can't exactly hire a massive orchestra. But what I could do is use this one software, MuseScore, that I ended up using in order to compose all of the music. Now, when you're just plotting all these different points onto a music sheet, especially when you're someone like me who I can't even read music. I just go by ear in what things sound like when I place the note there, and I go, that sounds good. That sounds like it's giving off the general vibe that I want. And it took a lot of just trial and error, seeing what notes worked with what, and thinking, okay, here's the general vibe that I want. Let's try and see if we can match that with all these different notes here. And it took a lot of forethought. There was a lot of refining. And again, I had a really short time frame of just that 10-week period of time to really get everything figured out. I'd have to say my favorite piece from the entire film is probably Aware. Because even though it doesn't exactly have that horror vibe to it, I feel like it gives that uncanny look into the mind of this animatronic. I mean, it's almost like you're coming alive with her. It's the whole point of that track. All of these other tracks are kind of just like trying to set up the unease. And then there's this one that just gives you a look into who this character is. And there's this undertone of, like, something being wrong. Which is the entire vibe of the whole short film that I'm going for. And I feel like with what I could do with the music, it did an okay job at that. Obviously, ideally, I would have an orchestra play it. But again, shoestring budget, it just wasn't gonna happen. So I'm happy with how it came out. And then came the sound design. Now, I wanted to go for like an 80s aesthetic. 80s to 90s aesthetic with the sound design. Like the computers are more whirry and beepy than you'd get from like a modern computer. Like most modern computers, you get like tiny fan noise, you know? There's not a whole lot going on. But like these older computers, you'd normally like hear them start up. There'd be like these DDoS sounds. There'd be like these beeps and whistles. It would sound kind of almost like R2-D2 sometimes. Sometimes the machine would even say things. Like the machine would speak to you to tell you whether the code was working or not. And I did my best to really fit that aesthetic and really show that this is primitive technology. While also understanding we're dipping into sci-fi here. I mean, AI didn't exist in the 80s. It did to some extent, but not as much as it does now. So it was really something that I had to think about when I was making this film. I had to sit there and I had to think about, okay, how do I balance the fact of like, okay, obviously it's sci-fi, so we're going to be able to use some sci-fi noises and kind of bend the rules of reality a bit, but I want it to be grounded enough where it's believable. So it was trying to find that middle ground with the sound design. My favorite sound effect that I picked is probably that sound effect when Bonsai's eyes light up. The chills I get every single time I watch that shot specifically, pretty much the entire film, that's the vibe I was trying to go for. So yeah, overall, I mean, I can't wait for part 2. And as far as part 2, I do plan to continue the franchise. If this one succeeds, a lot of it's gonna ride on, you know, how well this is received. You know, if people enjoy it, if people watch it, if I get the feel that it warrants me making a sequel and it warrants part 2 being made, I'm gonna make part 2. It's probably gonna take a lot longer, given that I'm gonna want all of the animatronics. I'm gonna want all of the animatronics, and I think it's gonna be bigger. It's gonna be bigger than the first film. I'm not promising blockbuster level or anything, so don't think that. I'm not promising amazing VFX or anything like that. But I do want it to be a little bigger. I want to expand on this. I want to expand on what we already know. I want to show a little bit more of the story. I will say, for those of you who want to rewatch this, when it comes out on YouTube, there's a lot of things hidden that are going to give you a better insight as to what's going on. And I'm going to continue that style. I'm going to continue that process of hiding little gems in the story. I really like that idea of storytelling where it's like you have this big overarching story and then you have these little pieces, you know? And some of these pieces might not make sense now, but they're going to make sense when the whole story's put together. And when it's viewed in the correct chronological order, hopefully. So yeah, I enjoyed this process, and I really hope that my passion and my enjoyment translated to the screen, and I hope that the passion and enjoyment of the actors translated to the screen. This is something I'm really excited about. I'm really hoping that this is successful because this big overarching story, I want to tell it. I want to tell this big overarching story. I know this is just such a... You guys don't understand. This is just such a small little window into this massive, massive universe that I'm just itching to tell the story of. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't... It's hard to even contain my excitement for it. Hello, and thank you all again for sticking around until the end in viewing the premiere for the Shaggy Files Part 1 Project Carrot. I hope you all enjoyed the film as much as I and the actors enjoyed making it, and I hope you enjoyed all of the exclusive footage that we have given you here today. Before we close everything out, I'd like to please just remind all of you that if you liked the film, to please spread the word about it as far and as wide as possible in order to expand the audience and hopefully give us an opportunity to make a sequel and perhaps even get to a point where we can complete the story of the Shaggy Files. I hope you all enjoyed this enough as well to attend future premieres of future short film projects and future series. With that being said, once again, I thank you all and I thank the people involved. And I can't wait to see you on the flip side.